Welcome back to the Nullified Take channel here on YouTube, where I've got the TNT takes for you on Million Dollar Island, episode 8. That's right, I'm your host, Chris, and I'm back with the top 5 takes here for episode 8. But before we get into it, please consider smashing that subscribe button, hitting the like on this video at the end of it, and putting the notification bell on so you can be informed the next time we drop one of these videos or when we go live to discuss your favorite competitive reality TV right here on YouTube. But let's get into the top 5 takes here. We start off here with takeaway number 1. Chelsea's reign of power was here. We kind of got a bit of a snippet of it, that it was coming this week at the end of last week when she won the lucky roulette that Ant spins every week. And how did I rate Chelsea's reign here? Obviously, you got to give her full marks, right? 2020 vision at this. Obviously, you've got to give her full marks at this point. She did end up throwing herself down there to go and get these bracelets, and she's the first person to successfully do this. And I have to say, throughout this whole episode, I was really, really liking Chelsea. I really liked her last episode when she went over to Corey to go and broker a deal, which ended up saving a lot of her tribe mates, and it showed that she was thinking of the rest of the tribe, obviously herself as well included there, because she was in danger as someone with one bracelet. But as soon as she got the ability to get some power in the game, and she can determine who she goes up against, she makes some clever decisions here, going for some people from both the Vine camp and also Lock camp, to making it very, politically sound, that she didn't just target a specific camp out there. So I don't think there's going to be too much hurt feelings from that point of view in any case after this decision. And I think the thing that made me really shout for Chelsea the most here this episode was the fact that we ended up with Brett again just bagging on her the whole episode, saying how bad of a move she's making, she's too excitable, and he just doesn't have much good things to say about the rest of his tribe. And at this point, it's kind of weird. I'm always behind the villain. I'm always like, yeah, go make some cool strategic decisions, make people angry. But I've got to say, I feel like this Million Dollar Island is kind of changing me and turning me over to the good side, because I'm really enjoying Chelsea here as a bit of an underdog. And the fact that she did end up, doing well this episode was something I really enjoyed seeing. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the challenge as takeaway 2 comes along here. The challenge was one where they got an assembly of words that they had to unscramble into words. There was only so many different words that you could spell out of the 5 or so letters that they were provided with, and they had to keep going without repeating. And every time they stepped up to the board, they had 30 seconds to complete their word. And we find out that Tony, one of the people that she nominated to go down there, he is really good at words, and he takes her all the way down to the final, where they get a whole new set of words, and they have to sort of bargain on how much they can spell out of this new set of words. Like, could they spell 8 words, 10 words, 11 words within 2 minutes? It's a bit of a gamble, because if the other person believes that they can't go and do more than what the other one is saying, a little bit of a game of chicken, then the person who has the highest amount, they have to go out there and prove that they can do it. Chelsea ends up on 10 words. Tony says that he doesn't think there's enough time for them to do it, or Chelsea has to prove now that she can go out there and can spell these 10 words. And she goes extremely well until about the 1 minute mark. She's got 6 words, and then she stalls. And I think that for people watching this at home, it's probably hard to even comprehend how much panic must have gone through her when she was out there, because at the end of the day, when you lose momentum like that and the pressure is on, I can tell you she could have easily flaked out. But this shows again the mental fortitude, the strength within Chelsea as a game player to pick up the pieces and still continue. She even got 1 or 2 words wrong as she was spelling them out there, and she still managed to win this challenge, making her probably one of my favorite players out there. There's quite a few people I'm starting to really get behind, but Chelsea was really high up. I was shouting for her throughout this episode, and seeing her pull this one out and seeing her camp all celebrate with Brett sitting in the back, like so disappointed that she won and that she's now the richest person, and then he kind of comes in from behind to fake like he's celebrating with the team, is something I really enjoyed seeing here. Well done, Chelsea. All right, we get into the survival challenge for takeaway number 3. The survival challenge this time, they have to get a raft together with some supplies that were provided to them on the beach, and they had to race out to some crab nets that Ant put out there the night before and collect enough crabs to equate to 3 kilograms. And it was a bit of a gamble because, Tony going out there, he is the provider for his camp, for Vine Camp, and he's someone that Jonty said he's seen built the raft that they've got for their camp. And immediately that sort of made Jonty sort of question if he could compete with him. But Jordan, someone that was a little bit of an underdog, I feel like this whole episode, he comes out of nowhere and just decides to make something very simple that's almost like a paddleboard, and he paddles it out to go and collect all of these crabs and then gets back to the beach before anybody else does, with Jonty straight on his heels, if I remember correctly. I just watched it. And he does end up taking out the survival challenge, winning back his 40K. And why I say that he came out of nowhere is because this whole episode, he was struggling to stand up straight. But when he heard that there was food on the line here, I think it really motivated him to not only just win his money back, his 40K, the bracelets, but also to be the person that could be the hero back at camp, which he was when he got back there. People were very excited to see the crabs come back with him, and he does end up finishing on a high here. So well done to Jordan as well here in this episode. I don't know how I would have done with building the raft. I probably would have gone for something more simplistic, I would like to believe, as well, similar to like a Jordan or something like that. I've never really done something like that myself before, but again, I'm really enjoying seeing the survival challenges. It's one of the things that play for me really well in this season, is the fact that they have to prove that they can actually live off the land and that they can provide for themselves. I really like this element of the show. All right, let's talk about takeaway number 4 here. It's the whole Jack versus Kylie debate. And maybe I've been talking about it for a while now, because it's been sort of set up over 2 or 3 episodes that there's this whole rivalry between Vine Camp and Log Camp about the food. And that continues here with Kylie being all high and mighty about the fact that, that the right thing to do in a competitive reality TV show, and again, let me just reiterate that, a competitive reality TV show, is that the other camp that's got the food, they have to just give the food away to ensure that they don't quit or starve out there. I don't know where Kylie's coming from. And this is nothing against her personally. I mean, I'm not the one struggling out there. I'm sure being deprived from food and maybe not fully realizing the show that she's on made her want to get that food from Jack. But in my opinion, I'm Team Jack all the way. I think Jack is playing the game. They're down on numbers. They don't have bracelets. So the chances of them winning a roulette spin is lower. So the one controllable they have is food, and that they can barter with down the line. I think it's all within the rules of the game. So I'm Team Jack here. I feel for Kylie, the pain that she must be going through with her camp, and she's the one that provided for them. And maybe there's an extra, that nurturing side, being a mother, that's coming out from her. But as someone that is a diehard competitive reality TV show watcher, this is something that to me is 100% within the rules. And I thought it was uncalled for that she called him a bully and said that maybe they just live life differently, kind of trying to paint Jack as this bad guy, which he clearly isn't, because we even see that later on, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But, to me, I'd love to know where you, the audience, sit, because people can have different opinions about it. You don't even have to agree with me, but I feel like, and again, I'm watching an editor TV show, but food should not be given to everybody in this game. It is up to you to go out there and forage. There's a lot of decisions that's within your sphere of influence. Like if you don't do well out there, just go home, quit. Go home. You don't have to starve to death out there, but it's definitely a way to get to the end, is by starving another camp out. I can see how that is completely legit. I'm actually surprised that no one's tried to steal food really at this stage. Maybe they're just hiding that from us, the viewers, and maybe something like that has already happened out there. All right, let's get into the final takeaway here of the episode. The pleading part of the game, where the losers of the survival challenge have to go around and ask people to save them in the game, does again equate to nothing. We're now at the pointy end of the game. By the end of this episode, only 29 players are left in the game. So the money must start to feel really real to people that are out there, that they've got a shot potentially at winning a good chunk of this $1 million prize. The only person that potentially would have gone home was Jack here in this episode, because he had this brotherly, almost slash fatherly connection, or son and father, brothers connection with Tony, which we learned about in the previous episode. And seeing him struggle with that decision, I really felt for him. And I'm glad that Tony clearly told him not to quit for him, but that was cut out of the show, and we didn't see him sort of say that because it would have taken the suspense out of the arena. Will he go or will he stay? But like I said, I'm starting to become a bit of a Jack supporter myself, so I was happy to see Jack decide to stay there and not give up his bracelet in the game so that he can continue on and potentially win that money, which is what he went out there for. But ultimately, no one quits, which clearly again shows that we're getting to that point of the game now. I'm very happy with how things have progressed. Now, I know this is kind of like a bonus take, but maybe it doesn't completely fall into this, but clearly some favorites now have formed for me in this game. Brett, I kind of like to shout against him right now, right? So he's the man with all the power, and I feel like he is going to get complacent because he is not in danger all that often. Even at the end of this, obviously we do see that Chelsea loses out on being the richest woman out there because she does have to give the 40K back to Jordan, which continues to leave him right up there in the top. But he is someone that definitely brings some spice to the show. So I'm really enjoying his storyline. I want to see how that's going to play out. At this point, I'm enjoying shouting against him. And that's nothing against you, Brett. It's the TV show is doing a good job at this point, and you're doing a good job at playing your part. Then obviously Corey, the nice guy, really like Corey. I want to see if he can take down the king, and then Chelsea is now becoming very much a favorite. So all of these players with so much money in the game, you've got to say at some point there's going to be a showdown between them. Those are the players that kind of stand out for me at this stage. Who are you shouting for? Let me know here in the comments below. But for now, that is all I have for you. Please check in again tomorrow night when I will have more of my top 5 takes for episode 9. See you then. Bye.